And welcome to the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. I am, of course, Nick Cameron. I am joined by my good friend, a man who never spitters, spatters, or sputters when I mention the genius of Roger Waters. Chitty chitty bang bang chakas. How we doing today, buddy?
I do not like this green eggs and ham. Anyway, what's up? Greetings
Not a
from
whole
Maine.
lot. I am still in St. Louis, but I'm in a new seat. As everybody can see, the records are not behind me, but this makes me a better podcaster because I got my screen on the right. I got my microphone in the right place. I'm right into all the business. I put down a blanket. So as you can see, got a blankie on the desk to
Blanky.
Oh, I need to wash this blankie. I got a blankie on the desk to sop up any reverb for when I talk downwards, because I always look down to hide my gross chin. But obviously, you are here for Tomb of the Mutilated, and if you are excited about discussing explanations of body parts, you have come to the right week of the podcast. I will let Keefy explain all that because he likes that kind of thing. But as we do this, thank you for joining us. Here's what we do. We do a quick greeting, which we've already done. We do a beer check, a vinyl check, a news check. I got two quick ones that are Pink Floyd, and then we're going to talk more about some Syd Barrett after that. And then we're going to go into the meat of the day, which is, and I can't remember the title of this because all of the titles are about awful things. Tomb of the Mutilated, which they used the wrong covers. If you really think about this, Tomb of the Mutilated should be the cover for Eaten Back to Life. But
I second that. I agree.
My beer check this week is Third Wheel Brewing Hip Hop Shuffle. And what does our good friend Adrock say? Nothing hits like an 808. In my Molson pint glass, can I buy you a lager, which I'm not drinking? Finger fudge pour down the middle, Paul, down the middle. And talk, Keefy.
I am baffled as to why I can't get. I keep moving around. I'm on a trip and I keep moving from place to place to place. This is the fourth or fifth week in a row we've done this from a different locale. And I don't have the speaker view back, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But anyway,
No, it's fine.
I should master this by now.
Oh, no, we don't have it because there's no yellow.
Yeah.
There's no yellow. We
I
get
don't
the
know what's
yellow.
going
on. We
Sorry.
had it when it was important. We had it from Mega Ran, so everybody got to see me fish a little bit out of my drink there. So, yeah.
That's funny. But I'm in Bangor, Maine, and I have been here since the weekend, and I'm
You're
leaving.
in Bangor, Maine?
Bangor with an OR, but Bangor is also acceptable. Maine is beautiful and super interesting. And,
Are you the bomb in Maine?
I'm not.
Because
So
our man Spo's not even the bomb in Maine.
right. So I just wolfed down the least quality meal I have had here, which was Wendy's, a Baconator. I'm probably gonna die during this podcast, but anyway.
Can I one piece of advice to everybody out there? Unless you are jonesing, and then it's fine. Do not get fast food bacon anything. Fast food steak is better.
Yeah, for sure. It's terrible. It's not even couldn't even be called bacon. I have a beer though from my beer check. This is Geogan Brothers, which is a local Bangor, Maine brewery, and this is Captain Kool IPA. I'm gonna pop it like it's hot. You might have even heard it. And I'm gonna finger fudge pour this down the middle into an empty Gatorade bottle because I'm just improvising. Finger fudge pour down the middle into the Gatorade bottle. Let's see if I can get the whole thing in there.
Can I ask you, are you just trying to one-up me on the pickle jar finally?
I'm just trying to do the most ridiculous shit possible every week with you. Oh. Saved it. That was great.
Just for the record, my beer is brewed in St. Peters, Missouri, which is urban St. Charles, which is ex-urban St. Louis. And it's brewed by women. So hip-hop hooray.
This is a beer celebrating a famous woman ship captain, Captain Kool with a K, like the cigarettes. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. We didn't even plan that.
We didn't.
When you are here in 2 months now, 2 months and a week, I will treat you to the glories of Missouri beer. We are one of the best beer cities in the country. But let's move forward. I have a double vinyl check this week. Number one, and I can't believe I'm checking this. I probably should have just passed on it, but I'm not. Paul McCartney and Wings, Band on the Run. We were driving in the car, me and the kid and the wife, and Band on the Run comes on. We're all singing along, and she says, "Why don't we have this?" And I said, "Give me my phone." And I went to Discogs and I bought it. Got one for us, one for the kid. Told the kid, "Yeah, a lot of people don't like Wings because of Linda McCartney." And her response was, "Why? She's so talented." And I mean, there is a kid seeing with eyes unclouded. I don't know because I've never listened to it, but I think a lot of dudes in this world that love rock bands are really jealous about their wags because they just want to be next to the rock star and the woman gets it and they don't. Personal
And
belief.
here's a good question we can't answer today, but let's just pose the question for the world. Why is Linda McCartney cool and Yoko hated? It's so clearly they're equal
I
in
think because
every
Linda
aspect.
can sing.
A little. A little.
Linda, she can sing. It's in English, and she's not of color.
Linda McCartney Eastman, who came from the Eastman Kodak family, came from privilege. I don't know. I really don't know. Not a fan. Not that I'm not a fan of hers, but just I'm not a fan of the Yoko hatred.
I'm not a fan of the Yoko
Especially
hatred.
after watching the Peter Jackson Get Back series on Disney Plus.
My kid watched that.
You should. We need to do a series on it. Like maybe not a series, but maybe like a.
All right. Let's move along.
Your second
check.
Check
2, Glenn Miller.
I had that in my hand the other day. What?
Plays selections from Glenn Miller's hits.
I had that in my hand at a store.
St. Louis Blues. The only version of the St. Louis Blues I have is not play. It's a Glenn Miller greatest hits played by some Danish band. So it was at a estate sale on day 2, which is half off day. So I think it was $10, $10 or $5, $2. Damn, $2. $2. I'm gonna shut up now.
All right, I have not a lengthy vinyl check, but a good one. So I got to go. I'm in Maine, and I got to go to one of the greatest record store chains in America, and clearly the #1 record store chain in Maine. So cool! I have to show you the bag from Bull Moose. You really can't appreciate this beautiful bag of craziness. But anyway, I went into the store, and it's a wondrous place, and I was like, I'm not gonna buy more than one thing. And I, of course, am bullshit, and I bought more than one thing. So, I have several things. I'm not going to check the CD that I bought, even though it's really cool. I'll save it for another thing.
No CDs. I'm going to quote Mike D on this one. Still listening to Wax, not using the CD.
Not using the CD.
Except I do.
Except you do. Here is, well, I got I looked at a lot of pricey things. They had a wonderful selection at Bull Moose. Shout out to Bull Moose stores. And, I did end up getting 2 of the more inexpensive things. One thing that's kind of semi-rare and another thing that was previously owned and used, but, nicely not too loved. So here is a repress of God Forbid's Determination, which I believe is their first album, back to 90.
Oh, is the sticker on the record itself?
It is.
I hate that.
I do too. I didn't try to take it off yet.
Everybody does it, but I still hate it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. God Forbid is currently reunited with 4 of the 5 original members. And so it came with that vinyl. It's got a cool insert with, I believe, the lyrics and photos. And then I believe it's in a cool blue. Let's see what we're working with here. Yep. In the paper, so I got to change that out when I get home. And here's the swirly.
Ooh, nice. Nice. I have a couple in that pattern. I love that pattern.
I am on the road. And so, no chance. And then, so this is a little more rare. This guy, I really hemmed and hawed about buying. But I ended up getting this. This is some kind of I put back stuff that was a little too pricey for this trip. But I was like, okay, I really want something. I got the limited edition color vinyl repress of Call of the Mastodon, which is Mastodon. You don't like them, but I love them. Mastodon's early releases and demos and EPs and stuff.
My issue with Mastodon is the best thing they ever did was cut you up with a linoleum knife.
Oh, hush you. So, formerly only available on CD and digital, now on
Nice,
vinyl,
nice, nice,
and
nice.
limited edition yellow, which is the highlight color of the artwork. So this is just canary yellow
Mm,
color that I like. I put back a lot of things to get these two things. That store could be dangerous for me if I live near it. That is my vinyl check.
hear you, hear you. Quick shirt check for me. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which, if you think about it, is probably the first movie in the series.
I can't even comprehend what you mean.
In terms of when they actually happened.
Sure.
If you think about how it all went down, it
Yes.
makes more sense that Temple of Doom happened before Raiders.
Did you see the recent Indiana Jones movie or
Not yet. I intend to. I just have an issue with 700. I have an issue with Indiana Methuselah.
He is 82 years old, Harrison Ford. He was great. I loved it. Enough said. Panopticon, shirt check, long sleeve, ready to roll. Drinking my beer out of my Gatorade bottle.
Quick news check. I got a couple of Pink Floyd newses. Since there's basically three camps of the Pink Floyd, we're going to already do Syd Barrett, so let's get Raj and Dave involved as well. Roger and Dave, within a week of each other, will be releasing fighting versions of Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah, nobody's going to, when the Pink Floyd version comes out, no one is going to say who asked for this. No one is going to say who is this for. This is the vinyl edition of the super mega remastered 50th anniversary edition that is in the mega box set, which people like myself will never buy because I'm not down with box sets that much. It's just not my jam. The Roger Waters edition of Dark Side of the Moon comes with a 13-minute rambling new track that was inspired by him redoing the old tracks. I got less interested. And the thing about the Roger Waters one, I legitimately get less interested with every note I hear. And the vinyl is $40. So that's a bit rough for something that I've already got like 7 times. I have 2 versions of Pink Floyd doing the wall, or I'm sorry, Dark Side of the Moon live. I've got the Dark Side of the Moon album, the OG pressing. I've got, if I'm going to buy it again, it's probably going to be that remastered one. I don't know that I need a 13-minute rambling Roger track this week. But
also the album cover is horrible.
It's so stupid.
It has none of the majesty of anything Pink Floyd has ever done at all, including post Roger.
Correct. And I will stand for Roger's solo records. I think his solo records stand the test of time. There's some squiffiness. This is not going to, I don't think this is going to last. I think people will be talking about this in 15 years going, remember that thing that happened? So I don't know why the release for the Pink Floyd version is coming out when it is. It feels like somebody set their release date in order to steal some sales from the other one. It's like, grandma's buying Dark Side of the Moon on Amazon, not knowing which one to get.
Here's my take on it.
I guess great grandmas. Actually, no, I take that back. It's going to be grandchildren buying it at this point.
It's going to sell well enough that he's going to make one for all the 70s Floyd albums, and it's going to be sucky.
No, he's 79. Where the clock,
he's probably already working on them. I'm telling you.
The clock is ticking.
I don't know. He doesn't seem, whatever he can do, his last breath, I spit at thee. Like Khan Noonan Singh in The Wrath of Khan. I spit at thee. He's going to spit at Dave every breath till his breathing last.
Let's move on to things that aren't terrible.
What is this? What is the Floyd is the live, right? From the box set.
No, we already have that. We did an episode on that.
That's right.
No, this is the remastered version on vinyl. They did not release it separately.
Shit. Okay.
The only thing they had released separately was the live version.
Right.
So now you can get both.
Okay.
And depending upon what it costs, I'm probably going to fork it. Whatever. So let's move on to a little bit nicer news in the Pink Floyd camp where it's no questions about it. Keefy and I have been talking about this here and there. I finally saw the Syd Barrett documentary, Have You Got It Yet?, which is famously named after the last song Syd tried to teach Pink Floyd called Have You Got It Yet?, where each time he played it, he changed something. So they never got it.
I think he was fooling with them, but okay.
He might have been tooling with them just a little bit.
I think he's tooling with you, sir.
But I think I was a little confusing to Keefy when I was tweeting, when we were texting back and forth about this. I enjoyed the documentary. I had a lot of fun. The kid and I went. We were going to go out and get dinner, but because of the heat wave, I had to charge my car. So we ran out of time to get dinner. So our dinner was popcorn, which is not a great dinner. We went to one of our art house theaters, which does not have much of a selection at the stand. They did have a beer sign, but no beer. So popcorn and a soda. So my dinner was buttery and super salty popcorn. She has not stopped complaining about the saltiness of said popcorn. It's been a week and a half. But overall, I greatly enjoyed the movie. It was what was really cool about it for me was seeing it in the big screen. Unlike most people, I think in this world, I have watched 800 hours of Pink Floyd documentaries on YouTube because they are there. And there was a Syd Barrett documentary where they talked to like all the damn weirdos from that movie were in this documentary. They were all friends of theirs. So I heard them 20 years ago. I heard them now. They are all completely nuts. There was a little bit more insight here and there, seeing meeting some of Syd's family. The idea of one of the weirdos they talked to said, "What would you say to him if you could talk to him one more time?" I would say bring Syd back because Roger doesn't seem very happy. And I'm like, okay, I don't get
Um,
the impression you care about your friend, but okay, whatever. You know,
no.
I appreciate that.
Right. It was very pro Sid, which is expected. I did love the interview with his lasting girlfriend that was like in his life
Mm-hmm.
for a few years. And she was like, oh, never noticed anything off about him ever. He was sweet as can be. He loved me. He was nice. He was thoughtful. We would chat, smoke a doob and chat for hours and hours, lay down and look at the clouds and shout out shapes and what's that one look like and stuff. But like never detected a hint of dismay or unrest. And I do find it a little sad. So, having just seen the other Pink Floyd documentary about hypnosis, I guess loosely Pink Floyd related,
Mm-hmm.
not loosely, Pink Floyd related, Storm Thorgerson produced and directed and is in this documentary about Sid, basically. He's one of the producers of it. And then he passed. And the other documentary came out that's also about him. And so it's very interesting. And the other documentary is like very driven by discussing people who aren't here anymore, Sid and Storm. And now the Storm one comes out and it's reflecting on Sid. So just very interesting to me.
Yeah, dueling documentaries always fun. I mean, overall, if I were not me, I would give it a 10 of 10. But being as I am me, I would give it an 8.5. One of the things I was trying to explain to my child was I go through phases of what I watch on YouTube. So right now, my phase is organized crime. I am watching all kinds like OC Shorts YouTube channel. Great. He's English. He does a great job. 15-minute little snippets, talks about the guys in Goodfellas. I mean, all that kind of stuff. Love it. So she comes up and she goes, Dad, why is it so much mafia? Shut up. There was a time where I watched all samurai documentaries. There was a time when I watched all Pink Floyd documentaries. There was a time when I watched all Pink Floyd live videos to go to sleep to. I mean, I go through phases like that where I'm watching one thing, which drives everyone insane. So I have seen, I mean, these surprise guests to most people are not surprises to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you. You talked about doing acid with Sid. You're being a little quiet about that this time in your old age.
They definitely scraped the bottom of the barrel with everyone from Sid's corner of the world. People like it's very thin who they have talked to in terms of like whether these people have a real POV on Sid that matters 60 years later. You know?
My complaint about the documentary was I was hoping for more post everything Sid, rather than just talking about how he was laughed at and made fun of in his later years. It was one thing I did get some new information on was when he came into the Wish You Were Here sessions. They never, I mean, we all knew what happened. We've all seen a photo or two from it, but we never knew how it affected these people. Apparently, when he left, Roger Waters was weeping in a heap. So the Syd's problems definitely affected them, and it was a glowing theme throughout their entire career.
Well, so
Uh,
here's the thing, though, that also at the same time there was a distinct discussion that Wish You Were Here was not about Syd. That Roger said many times it wasn't about Syd. It wasn't meant to be about him to begin with. And then after he showed up, it fell into the context of him visiting, and you know, like then it just starts to like, whoa, it's too oddly, shine on you crazy diamond, welcome to the machine, have a cigar. All these things are like
it
it
didn't
wasn't
occur to me that when you said "Wish You Were Here," it didn't occur to me you meant the entire record.
the entire record of Wish You Were
Oh,
Here ends up becoming in context follow. So again, even in this documentary, friends of Syd's are like, I don't think the album was meant to be about him until he showed up one day. Then it all made sense to Roger. So, maybe that's what sent him over the edge in terms of like recontextualizing it. But also for a long time, Roger didn't want to have his opus linked to Syd exclusively. Like, I
right.
think he wanted it to be a deeper experience, like all his things. Well, The Wall is about me, but it's also about all of us. Okay.
No,
Like,
it isn't.
it's all about
I
Roger.
actually recently
I
watched The
mean,
Wall with the kid too, and she didn't quite get it. And
I'm so glad she didn't
Sid
get it.
even, Sid even shows up in The Wall
He's
in the
totally
movie.
he's in The Wall. Like there's references to him throughout The Wall and in the movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I
let's move.
question all your choices as a parent. I will say that I give this film an 8 of 10. I think if you're a Pink Floyd completist and an obsessive like we are, you will love it. I think if you're curious about Syd and you have no basis for who he is except the story in the Pink Floyd lore, go check it out. I think it's very interesting to hear Storm do the
But you're gonna
interviews.
get you're gonna get a lot of inside baseball on this.
It's way inside baseball, yeah.
But if you don't mind, we
You go
can
right
move.
ahead.
Let's move forward now
Could I ask one
to.
question just
Go
randomly
ahead.
before we move forward to the main event? Have you
Sure.
seen the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka? No spoilers.
I have seen the first one.
Okay. I have not seen the third, which is airing today,
Yes, I
but I
need
have not
to.
seen as we record this.
I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna get on it.
Okay.
Can you hear an echo? I'm hearing a bit of an echo.
I think there's a better like this room is cavernous for a weird hotel room, and
But you got headphones on.
I do, but it's just I hear like a weird
All right, whatever. Let's move on.
reverb.
So we're gonna go back in time now to September 1992. September 1992 is when it's all happening for death metal. As we discussed previously in the first 2 episodes on this series, this is the first time we've ever tackled a genre as it becomes a genre. When we discussed, aside from Black Sabbath, but I mean, that was just us, like, pilly packing our puds over how great Black Sabbath was for the first 3 records. And so we are now legitimately seeing a splinter genre. And in 1992, things start to happen. Not only does the track one, the romantically titled sentimental tune, Hammer Smashed Face, make it into the Ace Ventura Pet Detective soundtrack. Now, in 2023, Ace Ventura Pet Detective might not mean anything. When you think of Jim Carrey, you might think of this oddly weird Santa Claus Canadian nut bar who tells you not to go see the movies he just got paid $20 million to be in because there's guns. Maybe that's what you think of. I could understand that. However, in 1992, he was leaving 1992, 1993, he was leaving In Living Color, and he was leaving a sketch comedy show to move on. I would posit that Jim Carrey was the only member of In Living Color that went on to stardom, enough stardom that he was no longer Jim Carrey from In Living Color. He was Jim Carrey. So Ace Ventura Pet Detective is his vehicle. That is the movie that launches him. This thing is a massive, massive, massive hit. I hated it, but I also hated everything that was mainstream at that time. I would probably love it now.
I would argue that Alex Bornstein is equally as
That
famous
was
as
Mad
him.
TV.
Oh, you're right. That was Mad TV. What
I
about
know I'm
David?
right.
What about
I'm
David
talking.
Wayans?
Damon Wayans is one of the Wayans brothers, and the Wayans brothers are in living color.
That's fair. I went to high school with Marlon, as you know.
Hey, I love the Wayans brothers, man. I'm gonna get you, sucker. Great flick that nobody talks about. It's my bunions, man. It's my bunions. About that 12 inches, it's okay. This hair's not even real.
Give me one rib. One order of ribs. No, no. Give me one rib. I sure am hungry. One rib.
I love
We
it.
did the one rib thing in my friend group for a decade. You have no
Now,
idea.
I don't know that we could make any more of an obscure reference today, so let's move forward. I think we've done a great job, gentlemen. So, and if you have seen I'm gonna get you, sucker, write me in the comments. Get at me. Seriously, get at me. So, but the big thing about this is not only is there exposure happening around this time, I saw an Entertainment Tonight story about the dangers of death metal and the mosh pit. And it was the first time the word mosh had ever gotten into the public lexicon. And it's such a strange and stupid word, really, but it is what it is, and we accept it. And we love it, even if my back hurts too much to get in it. And I just like, do this arm, I do the arm thing, the get away from me arm thing. And as this is happening, bands like Carcass are now being signed to Columbia Records subsidiaries. Nuclear Blast is getting distributed by Columbia in America. Morbid Angel goes on to sell 150,000 copies of Covenant around this time. Holy crap. Think about that for a second. A death metal band sells 150,000 copies of a single record. Deicide is popping at this time. Legion has come out. They're flowing on that. Obituary's Cause of Death is come and gone. Death is out there. The major players in this genre are out there. So now death metal, is it rap or is it grunge? It's rap. The powers that be, as it were, the powers that be, they have decided that this is a legitimate genre and we're going to put our money in it. That's a mistake because you're only going to make so much money. Carcass, a legend. I've seen them with less than 400 people 2 times. I mean, Cannibal Corpse, I've seen them twice, less than 1,000 people. Abject legends of the genre. There's not a lot of money here. There's not a lot of fans. It's too caustic. But major labels are picking up death metal bands. The Morris sound now finally exists. Unfortunately, it's not on this record, but it is on other ones. And I'll get more to that as we get to the track by track. But Cannibal Corpse now releases their first major hit, as it were, which is Hammer Smashed Face. To this day, that is still the encore of the Cannibal Corpse show. Great track. Anything to add?
Oh, we just went into the track by track. Okay.
No, I mean, I didn't.
I thought
I
you did.
didn't, but I did.
Well, you just
if you have
did,
anything
so.
to add, we can pull
Well,
it back.
I mean, like it is.
Cut it,
is,
Omar.
Yeah, cut it, Omar. I'll be back in New York tomorrow. Tomorrow night. It is inarguably the best Cannibal Corpse song. And I think that actually this is the record. I think, this is kind of a summary. But I think as far as third crucial records go, the third is always the one talked about in the music business. I do think that they leveled up a bit. Barnes continues to level up, and I think this is the first record where the drum sound matches the rest of the band, finally.
I disagree.
Oh.
I disagree a lot with everything you said is true.
And you still disagree.
Except the recording.
Okay.
I'll get into that as we move on. I guess I'll get into it now. What I found about when I was listening to this record, and I listened to it twice today. It's a great record. It is a seminal record from the genre. However, the recording techniques that were available at that time are not up to task for what they did. The double bass drums were nearly inaudible. They were about as loud as Jason Newsted's bass from And Justice for All. Just for the record, Metallica out there kicking it. They have now played tracks off every record on this tour. except for Lulu, which that's not Metallica, so it doesn't count. But they have played tracks off all 11 records.
They did Saint Anger.
Yeah, Dirty Window.
Dirty Window.
I think they did another one too. I think they've done two, but Dirty Window.
We'll get back to a Metallica news check next week officially.
Yeah. Sorry. But and then the guitar sounds mushy.
This is the last record with the original lineup, no?
I believe so, but I'm just talking about the recording. When I think of the Bill Steer guitar tone on Heartwork, which comes out, I believe, the year after this. Think about those Bill Steer riffs. They are scalpel precision.
Okay.
And you hear everything. And this record if it comes out a year later, it's classic already. Don't misunderstand. But I think it becomes the top of the pops in the genre.
It almost is anyway. It almost is.
But this is why live death metal is so much better than studio.
It took a long time. To me, the first actual, the first actual album that I enjoyed listening to, not the song quality, I'm talking about the sonics, was probably either Human by Death or Focus by Cynic.
Mine was, oh God. The single from Covenant, the first single, not Sworn to the Black, not, oh my God. Brought me unholy ones, bastard saints, scorched to the earth. Shit.
Death metal Nick Cameron, everybody. Death metal.
That's just me whispering, and I can do it for real too. I gotta look this up because I love that song. And I'm going to point out, I missed the Morbid Angel 20th anniversary of Covenant. I'm sorry, 25th anniversary of Covenant. I went, I'm broke. I'll get him next time. Yeah, David Vincent was out of the band again. So don't pass on your heroes when they're going to play your whole favorite record, boys. That's my suggestion. It's not Pain Divine. It is. This is great podcasting. This is the best podcasting ever. Rapture by Morbid Angel. That is the first truly sonically amazing death metal track I heard, followed by Heartwork.
That's fair. That's fair enough. Fair enough, buddy. I love Morbid Angel records. I'm not the hugest Morbid Angel stan. They are great though.
I'm a stan for that record.
That record you love. Yeah, that's true.
I find everything else they've done, they're a little like Sepultura. They have this one record that just makes every part of you stand on end. And they've got other records too.
Damn it. Anyway.
Does it cut? Does it hurt because it's true?
No. I'm going to hurt you because it's true. What do you...
Okay, Millie.
What do you... I don't know. Yeah, like, I don't know what to say. This record, legitimized them as the best band in the genre, basically.
Completely. I mean...
Sorry, apologies to your beloved Glenn Benton, and apologies to Death, but like this record put them over, not just because it's sold, not just because of Ace Ventura. It didn't bring in new people who never heard death metal before and make them into death metal fans. It gave metalheads something to be like, look at us breaking into the pop culture in a way that's not the Black Album.
I think it did both of those things.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it did bring in some fans because Jim Carrey had never heard death metal before that.
I think there's a lot.
That's what he said.
I think it's what he said on Arsenio.
He's Canadian.
He's trying to be funny and be like, look at the contradiction in terms that I'm a straight-laced white guy and then I have this death metal band in my movie. Like, I think that's amusing to him, and I don't think he's as big a fan as he made himself out to be. Even though he's now working with Paul Masvidal as his best friend, and they work together on music, which is interesting.
There we go. All right. Santa Claus doing some death metal, saying don't watch my gun movies, which was Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm going to point out.
Of all things. Yeah.
I did not see Sonic the Hedgehog.
I didn't either. I don't care about that game or movie.
I never thought the game was all that great.
Yeah.
I'm a Sega stan.
I'm still waiting for the Q*bert movie. Where's the Q*bert movie and the Frogger movie? If I don't see those movies, I don't
You
want to
want a
see.
you want a Q*bert
I
movie?
want Q*bert to get a movie.
Just watch any Eddie Murphy movie from the
Oh,
early '80s, and you've got Q*bert.
yo.
Trading Places comes to mind. Trading
That's my Eddie
Places are
Murphy lift.
48 hours. That's Q*bert.
My girl wants to party all the time. Anyway, greatest
Oh,
album. Maybe the greatest album ever. We
you
kind
know
of
what?
need to do Eddie
Do you know what he
Murphy
said?
as a
Do you know what
chaser.
he said about that record when he was recording it? He's doing the video. He's like, "I'm gonna fight, right? I'm supposed to fight," because he didn't know what the hell to do with this serious, straight music. He thought he was supposed to fart.
Okay.
All right, let's. If you don't mind, let's just crush the track by track.
Crushing the track by track. We already
All
talked.
right, we will trade off on titles because neither one of us wants to say these
I'll do
things.
all the titles. I love the titles. I love this is right up my alley.
You hit it.
I'll spare you the indignity of having to say these words out loud and answer to your wife later. You can just give the feedback on them. We already talked about Hammer Smash Face, but it is inarguably the most popular song by the band. The EP came out a year later with a radio edit, which I bet they regret now. Metal Blade say nothing short of a masterful marketing job capitalizing on the success of the song and the movie. But it is a great track to kick the record off with, and it is maybe arguably the greatest song by the band.
Completely agree. No notes on the song. You came, you saw, you conquered. It could have been recorded better, but I already discussed that. Just go ahead and assume I say that about every song on this record.
Speaking of I Came, I Come Blood.
Hang on, I wasn't done.
I thought you were. I had such a good segue ready. Come on.
Don't rip me off. That's a DMA thing.
No.
That's my DMA thing. So the one thing I wanted to say was on the EP they released, they did a cover of Black Sabbath's Zero the Hero, which I think is the only cover of anything from that record by anyone ever.
I think a few people have covered that song, but you're not wrong. It's the only good track on that record. I love that record, but
I don't.
It's not really.
I don't love it.
Shouldn't be.
But that is a great song, and they did a great cover of it.
They did.
I yield my time.
You give back your time. So I Come Blood is next, and it's about shooting blood out of your cock, as Corpse Grinder says every show.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I've seen him say that, and he gets off on saying that.
He loves to say it.
And then he asks, who likes that? And then he gives people bottles of water. The difference is when you see Carcass, Jeff Fisher gives you beer.
That's true. Did you see, not to make this about Corpse Grinder, who's coming up soon in an episode, but he donated an entire haul of plushy animals.
7 bags.
7 bags of plushies.
He got a certificate from the hospital.
Children's hospital in Florida.
Mm-hmm. I showed this to my wife and I go, look at this. Look at this man, this musician, this metal guy, she goes, oh. I go, that's fucking Corpse Grinder. And she goes, that's who?
He is adorable. Plays Dungeons and Dragons. Adorable. He loves Star Wars.
Look, I mean, the thing about these metal guys, I did a series on Glacially Musical on when it was a going blog called Meowdle, and I did all kinds of series just to get these metal guys, these scary guys, to talk about their ridiculous stuff. So, I mean, I have like these metal dudes holding kittens, and I just think it's adorable. And I mean, metal, I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but metal is a great way of just understanding our feelings at one time and blowing them up.
You know what though? No one has ever heard about any story about Chris Barnes and said, "Aw, never." Never in that guy's life.
Oh, there it is. Is this the band finally?
Yeah. Have you any more thoughts on I Come Blood?
No. Happy
as
to hear
a song.
It. Can't wait to hear it again next time I see him.
There you go. Are you ready to move on? Shall we do the third track, Addicted to Vaginal Skin?
Well, you know what? I understand that feeling.
Yeah, and I love the is it Ed Gein is the quote in the beginning?
It is not Ed Gein.
Is it Edmund Kemper? Somebody horrible.
Go ahead and talk it on. I'll
find we should have had that open, but yeah, it's there's a sample. It could be someone nefarious.
Arthur Shawcross.
Oh, Arthur Shawcross is like the first cannibalist.
Oh, the Genesee River Killer.
The Genesee River Killer.
Which Genesee River, I assume, provides the water for Genesee beer, which is in Rochester, which is just outside of Buffalo.
Right near Buffalo. That's correct, sir.
And Genesee Bach is amazing.
I will try it out. I'm not a Bach-y person. Another tech death. Truly, this is their first technical death metal record, honestly. It's much more complex riffs and bass parts. This is one song. They never come out of the set list. These 3 songs never have been out of the set list for Cannibal, ever. It's pretty special for a crazy song. The majority of the song is about like extreme necrophiliacs and cannibalism, which I get, it's their Barnes he kept leveling up the grotesqueries and the violence.
Well, and that's
the implied violence toward women. I think this is a guy who has rarely talked to a woman in his whole life, let alone be a threat to one. Certainly George is a family man and is not a threat to women, but most of them are married with children actually in the band.
Later, this kind of stuff becomes porno grind, so
I get it.
And I mean, another good song. It's the recording lets it down. The one thing they did get right is that death metal snare drum sound.
Ooh, yes. Paul is incredible. Paul really almost doesn't get... Somehow, Paul is the underrated guy in this band, and it doesn't make any sense, because he is one of the greats of the genre, but he just doesn't get mentioned when you have lyrical genius like these songs, and great vocals, and incredible guitars. You just don't mention the drums unless you're a drummer.
They used more imagination than Kirkus, who at this point in time is just now left their era where they read autopsies.
Right.
So,
yeah, I have no other thoughts. How about you?
Nope, I'm good. Moving on.
The next track on this album is the tamest album title. The tamest song title. Split Wide Open. Boring by comparison to all these other names. No?
Yeah, in 1984, that's terrifying, and on this record, it's
like, Song's good though. Good song.
Song is good. This is a really strong record.
This is their best record so far, in my opinion. Just to shoot my load right away. My load of coming blood right away.
Oh wow, we haven't even gotten to track 8 yet.
No, we're getting there. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Let's say the next title.
This next title is horrific, as so is the song Necropedophile. Jesus Christmas Christ on a bike. Why? Yeah, they never wrote these song titles or albums with
you know what's fun? Listening to these without knowing what he's saying. Again, we're thumping, we're thudding. I can't hear the drums real well.
Right. It's mushy. It's more of an OSDM track, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a mushy, the whole record is mushy.
Okay. You've spoken. The second tamest song title award goes to The Cryptic Stench. Could be anything.
That is not tame.
I think it's pretty tame. Cryptic stench. Okay. It's not a stench, like cryptic or stench, which is the word that is wild and crazy to you.
When you put them together, it's like Reese's peanut butter cups.
I guess. I don't know.
A stench and you don't know what it is? That's no. Okay. Hang on. I'm gonna take my headphones off. You say
Nick,
and then you say the next
Nick doesn't want to be associated with this part of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Headphones are off.
I'm going to use my NPR voice and say that the next song on the album is Entrails Ripped from a Virgin's Cunt. Thank you very much.
Oh, God, tap out.
Cunt. My favorite word. I only know the word cunt because it was my dad's nickname for my mom. I don't know why. I thought it was a term of endearment until later on in life. But anyway, Entrails Ripped from a Virgin's Cunt.
Sounds like a serial killer origin story.
Horrible. Yeah, it is. I mean, he definitely could have been a serial killer. He surely would have killed hookers that he had been with.
Oh my God.
Cunt, I'm just going to keep saying it over and over, is an amazing title. The song I wish was as good as the title. It's a good song. It's not a great song on this album.
I'm at the point of the record where it's squiffy because the recording does not give me all that it is. I think if the recording is better, it's not squiffy. If Cannibal Corpse today does an obituary and does live versions of their classic records, I think we have a 10 times better record.
Maybe. I don't want Cannibal Corpse to re-record a whole album, but if they did, this would be the one.
Right, track 9.
Post-mortal ejaculation.
Oh
So much to
God, damn it.
unbox in that song.
I don't want to unpack any of that.
It's about zombies coming. Anyway, I don't know, I guess. Or the dead coming. I don't know. At a certain point, these song titles are better than the songs, but
Yeah.
it's a pretty good. The end of the record is pretty strong.
Oh,
I think.
here actually is the tamest track, Beyond the
Oh yeah,
Cemetery.
yeah. The actual tamest track.
I mean, why even put that on?
Oh man, it is a great song actually. It's a very
It
good close.
is. It's
They played it
yes.
live for quite a while. Some of these other songs never made it to the live set, but that one did. Um it's a pretty intense record. It's over pretty quick. There's no song longer than the last track, which is almost 5 minutes, but really it's a pretty short record total.
It's the same length as the first two, 35.
34,
34,
35,
35,
35, yeah.
which I think 34, 35 is the right number for death metal.
That's probably true.
Morbid Angel's Covenant is 40, Legion is 30. You get into that 30 to 40 sweet spot.
Yeah, that's not unfair.
Because, especially at this time, the recording procedures. Oh no, I am missing. The recording has not made it to. Come on, computer. There we go. The recording hasn't made it up to. Has not. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna dip my balls in it. Oh, speaking of which, the State starting their first ever tour, dipping balls and breaking hearts.
I don't even know what to say to that. I guess are they coming to St. Louis at a time we could both
No,
go?
they're playing in New York and Denver.
Son of a bitch. All right.
I know.
Any other thoughts on this album and this massive, like Chris Barnes' piece de resistance of song titling?
I feel like he's never gonna top this, so hopefully he hasn't
I think he
tried.
didn't top this record because honestly, the next record, spoiler alert, I don't think the next record's as good as this record musically or Barnes wise. So that's maybe why he's out after that. But like, I do think this is an incredible record, despite all the cringe factor. Almost makes it more incredible. Gave them intense
Well, that was
credibility.
the point. The cringe factor that's the point. It's supposed to like make you go, ew, look what I'm listening to. What's this song called? And then you tell your mom that and she slaps you and puts a cigarette out in your mouth.
Right. These
Well,
are the
maybe
music. These
maybe
are the
maybe just in
musical.
my house.
Yeah, these are the Jesus. These are the musical. Your mom and my dad. These are the musical
No, my
equivalents.
mom wasn't that bad.
These are the musical equivalents of horror movies, right? The song.
No, this is horror movies when you're on meth.
Yeah. Well, I think some meth addicts made my dinner tonight. We'll see how I
Here
do
we
in the
go.
morning.
Is what it is. Who's turn to take us out?
I don't remember. It could be me.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
You're better at it than me.
You think so?
I do. I get like tripped up and I don't know when to stop.
I don't think so. I think you are better.
All right, I'll do. I'll fine.
No, I mean I'll do it, but
No,
like, I think you're better than me.
No, I demand.
Oh well, then okay. I'm just gonna drink my beer out of this Gatorade bottle, and you take us home, Bocephus.
As we arrive at the end of another week at the Glacially Musical Podcast and Video YouTube Extravaganza Happy Hour on the internet. Thank you very much for joining us. I am humbled each week that somebody of the quality of Keefy Chakas is willing to spend time with me while I hem and haw about death metal song titles because they scare me. If you have made it this far, thank you very much. You can follow Ghost Cult Mag at ghostcultmag.com, at ghostcultmag, _ghostcultmag, Ghost Cult Mag, everywhere, except maybe Threads, which I don't think he's on yet. I am. You can catch me at glacially_musical at most of the things, and I appreciate that. Hit me on Facebook, Instagram, the Twitters, because I won't say X. Fuck that noise. We don't, just for the record, we do not blast you with ads. We do not ask you for Venmo money. I'm not doing any donation things. So if you could do the one simple thing, one of two or three simple things, like and subscribe or write a review. This is a small content creator show. Small content creators need the most help. You don't need to give Joe Rogan, fuck that guy, Spittin' Chicklets, don't care about them, or, as much as I love them, stuff you should know. They don't need you. You've probably reviewed all of them if you listen to them. Give us a review. give us a subscribe, share one of the links when you see them. That is the best thing you can do for us. And I would greatly appreciate that. As every week, I say when it's my turn, thank you, Keefy, for coming with me on this journey every week. Thank you, listeners, for listening. I know there's about 18 million podcasts out there in the world. And the fact that you've chosen to listen to us is humbling and awesome. And as we say every week at this time, this is the Glacially Musical Podcast. It doesn't play in Peoria.
Please donate some money to us, or next week we're going to blast you with ads.